Good morning, family and friends. Welcome back to my kitchen of Cooking with Carol Diane. This morning, I am going to show you how to cook rainbow trout, something near and dear to my heart. I even have my little apron of the trout today because I'm all in the mood for cooking my trout. What most of you don't know about me is that I am an avid fisherwoman, as I call myself. I come from a long line of fishermen. My dad taught me how to fish years ago when I was little. He was the best. And he taught my older son all the tricks of the trade. And to this day, when I see my oldest out there in the river putting on my dad's fishing jacket, he walks like him, he casts like him. I have to kind of do a double take of, is that my dad or is that my older son? All of my sons like to fish. We fish the river. One does like to lake fish quite a bit. And the recipe that I'm going to do for you today pretty much is my second oldest son's. He kind of started it and we liked it. And so we kind of went from there. But like I said, fishing goes way back. I live in Colorado. I have fished the White River all of my life. So rainbow trout is just something I'm just so used to cooking. I'll tell you a little trick about how I fish. I fish with an open cast reel. I don't fly fish, although one of my sons does. I use a number 6 hook, 3-round split shot weights on a braided Philharmonic fishing line. And I add about 4 to 6 pound leader on it. I won't tell you what the bait that I use. That isn't going to be my secret. Just a couple people in my family know about it. But I go out on the river and like I said, I learn from the best and I can stand there for just a few minutes and by about the second cast, I've got my fish. And it's not a little tiny one. These today are what we call pan-size trout. These are trout. And so I've left the heads on one and not on the other in case you're offended in any way. But I'm going to show you kind of what I put together on this because I said when I go camping or go out with my sons or just by myself when I'm fishing, there's nothing better than to catch your fish and then go back to the campground on the open fire and cook your fish or bring them home, you know, and cook them at home. Like I said, my second oldest, he catches browns and trouts and all kinds of fish in the lake, but river fishing is a little different. My dad always used to say, he had a little saying that lake fishing was a lazy man's sport, that you work a river, and you do. You work a river. You're down in that water. You're moving around on all those rocks. You're scouting and looking to see where is that deep hole where that great big fish is waiting for you for the day. And so that's why I kind of like to do the river fishing over the lake fishing. My youngest son has amazed all of us in that he took his fishing one step farther. I tie flies and he asked me one day to kind of show him how to do that, and I did. And what I didn't know is that when I gave him a fly pole, he went out by himself and he self-taught himself fly fishing. Now, fly fishing is so much different than regular open cast fishing. It's quite an art, it really is. If you've ever watched the movie A River Runs Through with Brad Pitt, that's my little boy out there, really, truly. He has mastered the art of fly fishing in his own style. And I've actually seen him go down into the water, you know, after a big fish. So I give a plug to all 3 of them that love to fish because one is exactly like my dad. The other one likes to lake fish, and yet he will amaze us all by bringing back to camp, you know, some great big fat fish. And he will cook it the way we all like it. And then my youngest, like I said, he does the fly fishing, and I never did get the hang of doing the fly fishing because you have to whip it so much, and my arm just can't do that whipping anymore. But it's fun to watch him, it really is. So this morning, like I said, I'm going to teach you how to do the recipe that I've kind of always used. It's kind of basic. I've kind of added to it over the years, but my mom, when my dad would bring back a nice trout, she would fry it in a cast iron skillet. She really would. Today I am using a electric skillet. You can bake a fish, you can grill a fish, put it in foil and put it down in the campfire coals, however you want to cook it. But today I'm going to show you this easy way. So here are the fish, and maybe a video I will take after I've caught a fish, and I will show you how to what's called gut a fish and clean a fish. These are already done, and your cavity will look like this. It'll be all nice and clean. And like I said, I don't mind having the heads on mine. I prefer it. So we're going to take, in here, we're going to take just regular all-purpose flour. And you can sprinkle it over like this on each side if you want, because you're going to be coating both of these. Just kind of sprinkle it all on this. Turn them over. Or you can get some kind of a pan and you can put all your ingredients of the dry mix in, and do it that way. Usually, like I said, when I'm doing this, it's out on the campfire or someplace, and you're just kind of trying to get a hurry of getting it down there in the coals. Sometimes, not always, sometimes I will take some breadcrumbs and put in here and sprinkle all your mixture inside the cavity of the fish, because actually it's going to all cook in there. It's going to give the nice little flavor. So I'll go ahead and put some breadcrumbs in there, not very many. And then I will take, I found this rub some fish. It's got a lot of seasonings in it. If you don't want seasonings on your fish, if you just want salt and pepper like what I'm used to, that's great. If you like to doctor it up, as it's called, which is my oldest second son, he doctors it up, then okay, put all that on there. And again, put some in the cavity if you want to, of the fish. Not very much. Always, always, always salt and pepper everything. Again, I like to take my big one, put some salt and pepper on both sides that you do this. But here's the secret that we don't normally give away, but today I'm going to, is that, again, I live in Colorado, and if you do live in Colorado, you know where a place that's called Palisade is. It's right down the road from me. And they are known for their Palisade peaches. They have a great big Palisade festival in August where the town gets together at a park, and they have all kinds of things for sale that relates to the peaches. Last year, they took a hit. 95% of the orchards down here in Palisade froze with a bad freeze. So I don't know how the peaches are going to be this next year. I'm hoping they'll be okay, and we can get some more peaches. But since I don't have a real peach, can't find one in the grocery store because it's not in season right now, so I don't have a real peach to show you, that you would just take a peach or a couple of peaches, depending on how many fish that you have, and you would cut them up, slice them up. Today I went in my freezer, and they don't look real well this morning, but they are going to still get the flavor. So I'm going to take a peach, and I'm going to stick that in the cavity of my fish, on each one. And this is going to give a flavor to this fish that is unbelievable. Now, I could say take any peach, but there is just something about the Palisade peaches down here that this just makes this recipe. It really does. And if you want to bake them, you certainly can, doing this method. If you want to do it at a campfire that you're out camping, and I would take aluminum foil. I would do all this mixture, and then I would take aluminum foil, and I would wrap them in the foil, and then I would stick them down in the coals, of the hot coals, or I would put them on my cast iron skillet and start cooking them. So again, that's all I've used is just some basic breadcrumbs. I've sprinkled heavily with salt. and pepper, maybe a little bit of this fish rub if you like it, because this one has, I can already smell it. It has dill and lemon, and I can smell the garlic in there. It has a lot of seasonings. And you may not like that, but if you do, that's great. You know, put it all in there. Okay, so the fish are ready to be cooked. I've used Crisco shortening in my electric skillet here, which I'm just going to kind of bring on over here. Here's the electric skillet. Okay, and I'm going to turn mine up to about either 350, 375 is what I'm going to put the skillet at. I have, excuse me for just a minute, I don't trust it on that counter. I have several different electric skillets, from little round ones to square ones, but I like this one. This is a little West Bend vintage electric skillet that I like, and I like it because it's not that deep. It's only about an inch deep, and that's all I need for this little project that I'm doing. All right, so then I'm going to take my fish and put down in the hot oil. You can see it's just sizzling away here, and that's good. And I like to put mine where it's kind of every other one, so the head would go that way and another head would go that way. Just I've always done it that way. Okay. And put the fish in there. And you can go ahead and put back the lid on. This particular electric skillet has a little area here of a little door, little window here that closes or opens. And I would close it to get the steam and everything in there right away for it to cook. Fish don't take very long to cook, and especially trout. They really don't. When I was young, I know my kids give me a hard time about this, but they say, well, when do you know when it's done? You know, well, of course, like anything else, you're cooking it till it's kind of golden brown, or however you like. But my mom always told me, when you see white of the whole eyeball of the fish that is turned just completely white, your fish is done. And that's how I have always remembered that, okay, the meat's done inside when the eyeball is completely glazed over white. And so that's what I've done. Again, you can see that they're cooking nicely. And you can wait, you know, until one side is really, really brown before you turn it over, or you can help it along, like what I'm going to do, to show you that each side's, you know, being coated nicely. I can smell those seasonings already. I can smell what's in that little container in here. Just kind of help them along so they don't stick on the bottom. I have a little indoor grill that my son gave me one Christmas. I used the heck out of it. And I almost started to cook these on that this morning and then changed my mind. If you decide, I don't have enough pepper and you want to add a little more, absolutely, go right ahead. You're not eating the skin of the fish, so you can put as much seasoning on here as you like. You're not going to be eating that. That's coming off. And they're cooking really nice. Really nice in there. As I said, I really can't wait to get back up to the river and fish. It's such a relaxing sport. Any fisherman will tell you that. You get out there on the river and just all your cares and troubles or worries just vanish, because all you're concentrating on is listening to nature. That was another thing my dad taught me years ago, was no perfume, no bright colored clothes, and don't talk, because the fish can hear you. And I'll never forget it, because it's so true. I'm not out there with little earphones, you know, listening to music or whatever. No, I'm out there to enjoy nature around me. Birds singing, Sometimes I'll see a little otter swimming in the river. You're liable to hear something in the brush, you know, and you might turn for just a second to see what that is. It could be just some little animal. And it's just the rippling of the water, you know, that you're just so enjoying your restful, peaceful time. It's just the best time to get away from everything and relax. And that's why I like to go. Plus catching good fish. Yes, lots of times when I'm up there, you know, I'll get my gear on. I have a fishing jacket and I've got my waders on, and I'm out there, and the first thing that I do is kind of look up and say, here I am again, Dad. You're here to help me catch the big one today. And sure enough, second cast, I've got my fish. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my sons about my fishing hole for a long, long time. It's kind of like a secret recipe you don't like to give out. Certainly a fisherman or fisherwoman like me doesn't like to give out where their secret hole is. But over the years, that has kind of changed. And now they have found out. One even gave away the campsite location to everybody, and now everybody and their dog goes up there, and that kind of took the fun out of that. But we're winging it every year. We are. The main thing is to just get together with your family or friends and, you know, have a good time. You're up there to be around a campfire and tell stories and yeah, see who can come back with the biggest fish for the day. My youngest son, he cracks us all up because he will get up at the crack of dawn, literally. And he will leave the campsite down to the creek or the river and try to get there and cast out before anybody's even awake to come back to camp with the first fish. He likes to outdo the oldest. I don't know if he'll ever catch up with him, but right now he's pretty close. So I just kind of sit back as their mom and enjoy watching my kids, that they've learned the art of fishing. It's truly wonderful that they have taken to it as fast as they have and as well as they have. It certainly didn't take long for them to learn fishing. They all have their own style about doing it. And like I said, my second oldest, he likes to cook. He really does. And so he will come back and cook up the fish for everybody. He cooks an outstanding salmon. He won't tell me the recipe on that. He keeps that a secret. But I'll tell you, whatever he puts in it is very, very tasty. Maybe I can talk him into giving me the recipe so that I can cook it on these little videos. I don't know. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't take very long. And the fish are looking good. I already see the white of the eyeball on this one is already coated over white. So it's done. And then what I like to do is, so we're going to go ahead and turn this off, or I'll just actually unplug it. It's going to be off for a while now. And you can serve it on a nice platter of your fish. Serve it up real nice on your platter. To properly, and I will show you probably this in here. That's the fish. I brought this out for the theme of fishing. The little guy kind of cracks me up. Yeah, Wiggle. He is a bass fish. I wish I could have found one for a trout. But there you go for your little fish for the day. So if I was to take this, which I'd like to show you how to go ahead and, might be just a little bit too hot here. Said one video I will show you how to gut and clean your fish, which isn't real hard to do at all. But if you've never done it before, goes back to my youngest that he doesn't really like to clean the fish, but it's kind of a must. And that was another rule that my dad taught me, that you didn't bring the fish home unless you gut and clean them at the river, that you would take all the insides, you know, out And you would leave that in the river for the other fish to eat, or whatever else is in the river that likes to eat all that stuff. You didn't bring it home. So I learned that. And so I just kind of take my fish, I hang on to the tail. If the tail falls off, there is the bone here that you can grab and take your fish, and you're just going to kind of come along, plop that open right there. Hope you can see that real well. You can go ahead and take the peaches out. There's your backbone, your fish. Again, just take your fork, just barely get under there. See how nicely that all comes off? And why I like to go ahead and keep the head on it is because it's so much easier to get the bone off of there. Then you can come with your fork, and I just kind of scrape along. This would be on my plate that I'm having for dinner. I just kind of scrape along and make sure that all the bones are out. And then again, which I'll just do in my hand here because I don't have my little one here. You're going to salt and pepper this to your liking, however you want to do it. Put some salt on it. And it is ready to eat. Also up on the White River are what's called the whitefish. A whitefish is a fish that is very much white in color. Their scales are kind of a silvery white. They, to me, are a better tasting fish than the trout. That's why I kind of like to doctor up the trout a lot more than what I would do a whitefish because of the taste. Oh yeah, yeah. And again, there is something about having the peach in there that gives it such a good flavor. It's just outstanding on the flavor. Now if I can find my little things disappear on me all the time. There it is. Okay. So that's my cooking little video this morning. I'm just winging it this morning because I wanted to show you on the trout how to cook them any different way. Like I said, bake them, fry them, grill them, put them on the campfire in a cast iron skillet, put them down in the coals of the campfire, any way you want to do it. But the flavor of this with the Palisade peaches, you just can't beat it. You just can't. So next video on fish, I'll try to do a fresh whitefish that I have caught. And like I said, I will show you how to get the fish and how to prepare the whitefish for your liking. So I hope you enjoyed my little video this morning, cooking with Carol Diane, from my kitchen to yours. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye now.